And the breaking news is Dylan Brown reportedly has told his teammates, and this has been broken by Michael Shamus late this afternoon,
Correct.
leaving the club to sign with the Newcastle Knights on a 10-year, $13 million deal starting next year. Now, of course, the clause was he had to notify the club by round 10 this year. Not sure whether that decision was made after the shellacking that the Melbourne Storm gave them yesterday or whether it was before. But either way...
What do you do if you're Jason Rolls?
What do you do if you're Dylan Brown? You can't knock back a deal like that.
No, you can't. So and good luck to him.
Yep.
You know, and his agent's done a good job. He's got him the money. What do you do if you're Aussie Rules?
Aussie Rules?
Aussie Uno Rules.
Oh.
What?
What do you do if what do you do if you're Jason Rolls?
Are you saying, what do you do what Wayne Bennett did when Justin Hodges signed with the Roosters? And in 2000, for the 2002 season, he dropped him.
Would Newcastle take him now? Not on that money, obviously.
I don't know whether they can fit. Well, their salary cap's been a mess for a number of years.
Where's he going to play?
If if Brayley ends up at the Cowboys, for instance, or Canberra, for instance, before June 30, do they take him early?
Well, he'd be playing on less money.
Where does he play, though?
Well, that's the question because Fletcher Baker, if he's going to be the future in their sixth, there's Dylan Brown playing number 7. So
Sharp.
Phil Gardner, the CEO of the Newcastle Knights, he came out a couple of weeks ago and said, well, we're one of those clubs that are willing to throw this sort of money at Dylan Brown, even though he's not a marquee number 6 across the competition, like a premier number 6 or 7. Jeez. We're willing to throw that money. Well, quite simply, this decision, you've sometimes got to put all your cards on the table and you've got to take a risk. So it either makes or breaks Phil Gardner at the club.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at it and this could throw Newcastle into 10 years of turmoil, or 10 years of
success,
or it could change things. But sort of there's talk about Kalen Ponga potentially going to be an All Black.
Yeah, but does this decision
lock in Ponga?
Was Ponga part of the negotiations and part of the communication with Dylan Brown? Yeah. American colleges do a lot when they're trying to entice players to come to their colleges. They use their star players to welcome them to the college, show them around.
Yeah, and
the star
former
power.
Players. Yeah. Yep.
So, when you look at Fletcher, if Fletcher Baker's the 6 and Dylan Brown's the 7.
Sharp.
Fletcher Sharp, I should say, and Dylan Brown's the 7 and Kalen's the 1, straight away you're starting to look at a team that goes, you know what, we could be quite settled.
What do you think about Fletcher Sharp on the weekend?
Just did enough. Scored a really important try at the back of Dylan Lucas. And he's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're all that bad, Newcastle Knights. So,
Para fans, I know Steve from Dubbo, he's going to say pack your bags and go tomorrow. But we have got a lot of other Para fans as well. What are your thoughts? 0457 736 736 or 8833. Now, if you are really passionate and you're sitting in traffic or you're going for a walk at the moment and you're near your phone and you want to give us a call, Suncorp open line, and thank you, Suncorp, because our house is insured. We had to go through. They called us back this morning after half an hour, Suncorp, because we've got to make a claim on the home, already going through the process.
Oh, good.
It's outstanding, yeah. Suncorp open line, 1300 01 1170 if you're a Para fan or even if you're just a rugby league fan. What are your thoughts on this announcement of Dylan Brown? Reportedly has told his teammates he's going to be officially leaving the club at the end of the season. Rat thinks that if a club can afford him or Newcastle can afford him now and Jaden Brayley gets moved on early, and we're hearing a Monday murmur there, which we're going to get to very soon also, that the Canberra Raiders are interested in Jaden Brayley.
Why wouldn't you go, though? You know, like if they can accommodate it.
Yep.
Because obviously you've got two teams that are trying to get their stuff together.
Yep.
After not being where they want to be over the last few years. Well, Parramatta probably more so than Newcastle have been thereabouts. Parramatta were like awful last year.
Yeah.
Trying to get it together, new regime, and now one of your star players is telling teammates he's leaving. Like, would you want him there as a young new coach?
To educate the listeners, the players understand.
Yeah, they do.
They understand, but it still hurts.
It still hurts.
It still hurts because the message is, even though that I've been offered a lot of money, and even though this club has offered me a lot of money also, the message is I actually don't want to play with you guys moving forward. which hurts as a player.
Yeah. Well, Big J-Dog says these 10-year deals offer no incentive for performance. Also, the Newcastle junior base is pretty strong, I believe. Yeah, it is, J-Dog. It's a big nursery of rugby league talent up there, or down there from here. The one thing a 10-year deal does for me, it takes you out of the recruiting young halves in your area. 10 years. Like, does it have to be a 10-year deal?
Oh, I think 10-year deals are fraught with danger. I think Daly Cherry Evans has been the only, even if it's not 10 years, even if it's at 7 or 8 years, they've been fraught with danger. And it's based on the athlete as well. You know, what drives them, you know? And Cherry Evans, that was always going to work because, one, he stayed at the same club. And yes, he did the backflip on the Titans, but he's allowed to under the rules. But just based on him as a competitor, a trainer, a player, what he gave to Manly up to that point, what he was giving to Queensland.
It's worked for him.
It's worked. Everyone else that's been on anything from like a 6 or 7 or an 8-year contract, Hamali Olakau'atu, well, that remains to be seen whether
Played well on the weekend.
Yeah, by year 6 or year 7, is he still playing the same rugby league? Is he as motivated as what he was before? Well, again, we'll have to wait and see with that one. But this 10-year contract is, again, perplexing, but well done to Dylan Brown and his manager for getting it because it's hard to knock back.
It is hard to knock back. And
Total security.
I'd say, just a strong Newcastle Knights is good for rugby league.
Are you going to throw up that, are you? When
I
Souths win, it's great for rugby
league.
league.
No, I just like Newcastle. I love the area.
I think they're one of the best fan bases in rugby league, without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, good point here. Newcastle have 25% of their cap held up in 2 players. Ponga to the Roosters in a couple of years. That's from Josh.
Well, there's been a few people actually that have sent through that as well. 356 says, does that not pave the way for Ponga to the Chooks? I think the Chooks are one massive signing away.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a massive signing at the Chooks within the next sort of 6 or 8 weeks, without a doubt.
You've got a pretty handy fullback at the Chooks at the moment.
Does that not pave the way for Ponga to the Chooks? He can stay till Moses is back, then he can go. So Moses, of course, is back around round 8, I think it is. Moses has just re-signed. I thought, and many thought, that with Moses re-signing that Dylan Brown would have re-signed as well.
Well, just on that, do you think maybe, and he's come out publicly and said that he wants to play with Brown. He's happy to play alongside Brown. They have a good partnership, and he's really excited for this season. This is prior to the injury. But him re-signing only last week, do you think maybe that Moses has said that if I'm going to re-sign, I want to be with said player in the halves? And maybe the Eels are 6 to 8 weeks away from announcing a huge signing long-term in the halves. Because they've got rid of their captain, Clint Gutherson. They've got rid of a number of other players. We saw on the weekend that side is quite weak.
But the thing is, though, Parramatta were vocal in saying that they wanted Dylan Brown to stay.
And now that he's not,
they have to say that though.
What you're saying?
No, they can say nothing.
It's a good point.
They can say nothing.
It's a good point because now they've got this money to use in their salary cap, and with Gutherson going and co. And Mitchell Moses has re-signed, so he would have taken up a little bit of that money. Not a lot, but a little bit of it, a top-up. But you're right. It puts him in a really good situation recruitment-wise. But you know what? They've got to win.
Yeah.
The really good players want to be at clubs where they know that they're potentially going to play finals footy. Now, it's only round 1. We get that. They're going to be a completely different team at CommBank this week. But just based on the first week, there would be a lot of big players that would be apprehensive.
Steve from Dubbo's chimed in.
Yep. What's he got?
There's no way I'd say for Brown to go tomorrow. I'd say go now. And thanks for being nothing but disruptive to the club for the last couple of years.
Now, Dave from Old Toongabbie says, hey, Sats and Rat, Dylan Brown can go now. Good luck, Newcastle. He's not a halfback.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be a halfback. I haven't seen him. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, I agree with Steve from Dubbo. The club's put faith in Brown.
Yeah.
They've pulled him through the ringers, and he hasn't performed. You know?
Yeah, so we're going to get to plenty of those text messages throughout the night because there is a lot of passionate rugby league fans that like to have a say. First and foremost, like we said, Rat, as a player and as the manager, well done. You've been able to secure a really good deal for your player.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For more like that, all you've got to do is follow the Sports Day with Sats and Rat socials. That is Sats Rat SEN. That's on X and Instagram. And listen live on SEN Radio.